Here's a bit of interesting.
From the March low, Scott. So absolutely, we're anticipating better growth. By the way,
Yeah.
I'm
I
not rooting
appreciate
for
if it
10%
happened.
growth every
Don't
single
talk
quarter.
about it. I mean, who said it? I mean, we had from the beginning to have an opportunity to say yes, no, anything, a month of bad decision making process. I get you got to let the machine maul over it for a little while before you can get a hold of the carcass and actually drag it out of there. But seriously, I mean, you can't keep doing that with the tax hikes. No tax hikes. Do you vaccinate everybody? Stab in the face with a with Johnson and Johnson and Pfizer, one in both eyes. Do it. Or do you, I mean, seriously, this does. There was on the wealthy, there's not on the wealthy. Obviously, they molded over in terms of the machine. So why did you bring it up in the first place? If you were this good with what this is, on what you say you do from that point of perspective, where that was coming from. This wasn't some brother named Freddie. It was secretary, big ends on the treasury, on the tax lines, on things that are supposed to hit. So if it doesn't come through, they were off on the interpretation. And there, we're not talking about dead bodies or stock model differentials. You could have said things settled down. Did they settle down? Those were the points. Those were the indicators. That's why, won't happen. That's a fair statement when OSHA M. Shaw rolls in, some safety brother, because that sister, whoever, gonna be Karen. Oh, Marshmallow, I see you. Inside here, about what that number was, well, somebody's doing it, and that's what it was. And then you go to that desk, like I said, you grab that marshmallow and you throw it up there to satisfy, well, that equals gravity, geodesics floating through the universe, density difference floated me off to the side a little bit here on this Hubble straight line 45 about y, tax line times dollars, because they're all the same cases in the company. Like I said, they're all the positions. Once you have that, you have a sensible square wave on what that is, but an adjustable model, and hopefully it would still 45.
Nor you, probably, because that will lead to much, much higher inflation.
32,
but again,
40,
the question
33,
is this as good as it gets? And then when does the Fed
What
pull
it
away?
is.
And then, oh, by the way, now taxes are now top of mind of at least some of my colleagues, myself as well. I think we're going to be able to handle that. But now there are the question marks. That's why I think that there are some surveys out there, like the RBC survey today, that was a little more muted, but it's still bullish.
Yeah, it's still bullish, but John,
all one thing, aren't they?
Barclays
And you're
is out
building
today,
the,
right before we came
the
on the
house.
air
I
with
need
a
this
note
much of one.
that says the Biden taxes
I have
would
a
shave
bank
8%
account.
from EPS in 2022.
I have a bank account
That has real ramifications
in
for
there.
stocks.
So
Now,
that's what the
market,
manufacturing is there.
in
So
some
this
respects, is
being
obviously
what I usually
voting
say it is
and saying, well, we
on the
don't
pipes.
think that the
This
Biden
is
tax cuts are going to
EM
happen
field to the numbers of the
anywhere near the
circuitry.
degree that
Hosed
the
right
president
around
thinks
it.
they
Put
might,
you up
or
over
certainly
here.
wants them and wishes them to. And that's why the stock market is where it is. If it really thought that you were going to have some transformational tax changes, the stock market would already
you put them in
be
here.
anticipating
What are
that,
they?
right?
Where's the? That thing comes.
Right, Scott. And I think what
Question answered.
the president
0,
has laid out
1.
is a prudent plan in terms of paying for some of this massive spending that
calculus.
we've got. Even though
I called Modern God Cthulhu. There's Michael right there, right? That's how I'm in there in that corner on the labor union. You got to do it today, brother.
15 years. But
Say yeah.
you're right. The market is saying right now, we don't really think that this would happen.
Well,
Certainly
when
not
Warren
this
Buffett,
year.
to my position, says you
Could
got to
it
know that
happen
stock.
next year.
Fair,
Very unlikely
fair,
also, Scott,
fair.
because we're going into midterms in 2022. So I don't think we're going to see it happening in
More
either
money
of
here,
these 2
this,
years.
that.
The market being a forward-looking instrument is saying that
If you were
we
in
do
the
need to
house
find
of
ways to
that
pay for it. We don't
service
think it happens this
rotation,
year
you
in
would
the
know.
midst
And
of us
those are the
coming
parts
out
of the
of
only
the
thing
pandemic.
I
We
could
don't wanna just
ever
hit the
trust
brakes
in an
really hard.
investment
And the
is my
likelihood
own
of that
decision-making
occurring
process for
during midterms
evaluating the
is
profit line of the
likewise
quote
not very good.
on that
So
house.
You're exactly right. The market is saying, the market is handicapping it, saying don't think it's going to happen.
Fair test
Biden's
on
gonna
quote
try and get done what he wants
contract,
to get done
labor
while he can
union
get it
boards
done,
about
right? He may not
what
have a
is going to
majority,
be this workers'
even
function,
though it's a
Grayling lunch line
tiebreaker
onto
in
this.
the
This
Senate. He
is
may not
safety
have
officer's
that
position, no different,
after the
same
midterm
job,
elections. He's gonna try and
different
get done
name.
what he wants,
For
when he wants.
levels and
He
positions,
may not be
definitely
thinking about
determined
sort
by
of the
gravity
implications
and
of
how
that,
it
or
travels
the
down the
stock market's
pipes.
gonna like it, et cetera, or
keep
what have you.
staying.
Now, what do you take, though,
Eggs are fine.
Surratt, from the fact that you've got a pretty broad swath of stocks hitting new highs this week? Facebook, Alphabet, Microsoft, talk about those ad nauseum. I totally get it. But talk about these sectors, right? A lot of home builders, a lot of retailers, shippers, financials, semis, healthcare, materials. A lot of big name stocks that our viewers own, Surratt, are hitting new highs this week. That's got to be a bullish sign.
It is a bullish sign, and I think the points that we've been talking about is what is the market believing going forward in
like I
terms
said, as
of
far as
interest
the
rates?
SPAC,
Are they going to be
Bill
going up, or is this
Gates,
just a
Google,
transient
Airbox,
time of higher inflation?
Oracle,
And that's why you're seeing
Oculus,
a broad-based
Lambda,
rally, not just in
Feynman,
financials and cyclicals and energy, but you're also seeing it in the technology side. And I think the other side, consumer staples is another area that
they're going to know a lot about this,
our
but
viewers should also look
the
at.
whole thing is
What we're having
the
is
board factory
earnings are
is.
strong. They're going to get stronger.
You might know a
And I
better
think
index or a
going
cheaper
forward,
bowl,
where
better index, buy the
investors should
bowl,
look
breed
for
the
is
farm, then they,
what are going to be some of the
because
headwinds,
you
but at the same
tall
time,
horse, wide
we've
horse,
got an
pretty
economy
horse, safety, quality,
that is
quantity, that
thriving,
rail gun.
and,
What are they,
all
spectrometer
sectors right
shooting
now
through
seem
the
to be participating in it too, which is a good thing. And even if multiples don't expand, I want to get back to this multiple idea. If your earnings are expanding, your stocks are going to grow as fast as your earnings. And I think that's something we got to look forward to, because
science,
right
technology,
now,
engineering,
those headwinds are not
mathematics.
there.
This
The market
is
could,
Brownie Factory
will
7.
Go forward, and for
You
those
are
who are
number
invested, they're
42.
going to partake in the growth.
Okay.
Okay. Good enough for me.